feels really low.
It looks good. It looks good.
Okay, I'm trusting you that you're not just like filming from like my neck down. I'll keep.
I'm gonna look really fucking small.
I'm gonna keep that in because that was funny. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Also Rusty Buckets. As you may or may not have noticed, this is very different from the typical video. First of all, we have Rudy behind the camera, and then some dipshit that lives in Chicago. Also, I invited him here. Nicholas. I don't know how to say your last name. Hinkle. I thought that's what it was. Oh wait, I'm supposed to put this over to you.
It's Hinkle.
Okay. So we just went to Game 4, Bucks versus Nets, and I think Rudy wasn't the case, but for both of us, that's our first playoff game. That was your first Bucks game in the Bucks arena.
Yeah, I saw one. I got to see one Bucks game in Detroit at LCA. That was the first time I got to go to Pfizer.
Yeah. So I very last second planned a trip to come here. Like incredibly last second, like 3 days, and decided that I wanted to spend a shit ton of money to go see a playoff game, and that's exactly what we did. And we went together, and it was a damn good time. This video might be a lot of not so much talking about the actual X's and O's because it's very much an experience to go to a playoff game. I've been to close basketball games before during the regular season. It doesn't even come. It's not even the same stratosphere. That was fucking ridiculous.
No, I mean, I think a lot of it was because Milwaukee fans have been good. They know that their team has been good for a few years now. So there's sort of this buildup of like we've really been waiting for this team to go to another level because the last 2 years, whether it be the Toronto series or obviously the Miami series last year, they flame out in these inexplicable ways. And so for this team to maybe sort of finally hit their stride in some regard, even if they only squeaked out one of those wins, it feels like the atmosphere is such because there's like so much like leading to, there's so much anticipation, at least where if you're a team like when Minnesota made the playoffs a few years ago, they're just happy to be in for the first time in, almost 2 decades. Or it was, I think, like 14 or 15 years. So they're just happy to be there, and they're just happy to have good basketball again. But there's so much more anticipation for a team like Milwaukee.
And this is a weird side tangent, but I feel like the Bucks, for at least not Bucks fans, but fans from an outside looking in, they almost skipped the this team is new to being a contender, so they're gonna have to hammer shit out. Like they were immediately critical of like a 24-year-old Giannis in his first major playoff series and him cracking a little bit. It's like that's not really a huge deal. But now they're at the point where it's fair to have serious expectations for Milwaukee, and especially in this series, the Nets. If they beat the Nets, I would have them winning the championship.
So the one thing that I've been like super worried about being like when I knew that we were going to be doing this, like I was really worried about being hyperbolic. Can you explain to me a pathing where Brooklyn actually wins? Because I think that would be obviously. First, let me say this: I think it's really good that there weren't really any Bucks fans that were sort of celebrating the Kyrie injury.
About. I was really like, if they start cheering.
Yeah, it seemed like in the arena there was, when he finally, it was pretty quiet.
There was some clapping.
Well, the clapping was when he finally got up.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay, yeah. So it was like, and it obviously takes away from the integrity of the series, and that sucks a lot. So you look forward to, if you're Brooklyn, KD's got a snap in Game 5. You're hoping to get Harden back. It doesn't seem like Kyrie's coming back. Again, this could age super poorly, but it just seems like right now, Milwaukee just kind of has the cards like, this is it. This is literally yours to take. This is free right now.
Yeah, that's your.
Yeah, I mean,
we didn't mention it. We did, but we didn't like go. Oh yeah, Kyrie got hurt. By the way, that's the first time I've seen like what could be a major injury live before, and that was weird. I've never seen a star player like in pain on the floor before, and I've been to like 8 or 9 NBA games previous to this. So that was an interesting experience in a not good way, but yeah, that was kind of fucked up. He left the game in a boot with crunches.
Yeah, I mean,
crunches.
You also crutches.
Yeah,
you also got to see Pat Connaughton get his head split open.
Yeah, well,
cool.
We didn't actually see it because kind of the goal was in the way.
Yeah,
but he did and didn't get any kind of foul call on that. So I would like to point out that Nicholas is not Bucks fan, just like I'm a not Nuggets fan.
Yeah,
and the game started off, the Nets went up 9-2, and I just looked at him and was like, oh man, he's ready to jump off a bridge.
Yeah, like I said to Jacob, I was like, it's really good that you got tickets where it's really good that we're as high up as we are, because this is going to be over for me really quick. Like, it was really, I went into that game and I was like, I cannot imagine a situation where Milwaukee loses this game. And then immediately they go down 9-2. And I had completely, like I told you before, I had completely forgotten about it until you brought it back up to me later. That I was like, I can't believe that I was down like that. And
it was a 7-point deficit, and you were like, life is done.
I was like, but it was weird because I felt really good about where Milwaukee was at. And I also want to add this, that people are going to look at the Kyrie injury and it's going to be like, that is going to be the ultimate turning point. Let's just assume for right now he's out for the entire series. If that ends up being true, people are going to use that as like a turning point. And I just want to throw out there that I want to give Mike Budenholzer some credit, because it actually felt like leading up to that injury, there were actually certain adjustments being made. The biggest one was that Giannis wasn't being used as an initiator anymore.
Yes, that was the noticeable one.
And then the second one was Drew was actually getting a lot of things run for him, specifically on offense. And even though he wasn't
like a role player.
Yeah, and he wasn't necessarily capitalizing on much of it. I think it was somewhere in the third quarter. Like, he actually had a set run specifically for him and Giannis to run a two-man game out of a horn set, which was really like, good for you, Mike, to actually, like, well, I'm being dead serious.
I know, but
though.
it's just like, woohoo, the bare minimum.
No, you're right. You're right. But like in a series like this, it was reassuring for me as somebody who has a vested interest in Milwaukee to see their coach actually finally decide that a certain adjustments need to be taken. And the last thing I'll say is the funniest part was, and I tweeted this, anytime that Giannis would catch the ball 20 to 25 feet from the basket, everybody was like, don't do it.
Yeah, we were surrounded by I don't know that I saw a Nets fan within 25 seats of us in any direction, but there every time, and even in the mid-range, they're like, please don't shoot, don't shoot. And I have to mention this because this guy is a fucking legend. So I was when Giannis went to the free throw line, which happened a few times. I did the Mississippi rule, like one Mississippi, two Mississippi. I was doing that. I got to 10 before he shot it. Mm-hmm. But then this guy just holds up his phone and he goes, he just shows
he turns around and he's like,
he has a stopwatch app and it's at like 14 seconds. So, and then he did it again. Like,
he's doing it the whole game.
Yeah, that's just fucking hilarious. I tweeted about it and a guy replied that was him. And then the tweet has like 1,000 likes, and then he doesn't follow me, so it's like there's like a 15% chance that's not a lie.
Could actually very well be,
So shout out to that guy. I didn't do a great job of actually keeping up with what happened in this game, just simply because I was so enthralled with the actual environment and experience of it that I was like, ooh, Giannis dunk and crowd yell. Like,
100%.
That I was just so mesmerized by that, and then on top of that, I just said I don't know where I'm going with this. I just went on a transition and didn't know where to go. What the fuck was I going to say?
Is there anything about this Milwaukee series through 4 games that you wanted to see Milwaukee do differently? Like you went into the series like Milwaukee has to do this if they want to be Brooklyn, that they actually finally started to do, or that you're waiting to finally see?
Well, specifically, it's the Giannis not initiating plays as much thing, because that was bad in the first 3 games. And here's the thing, I've been bitching about that forever. It wasn't just this series. Like, Giannis is a fine playmaker, but stop treating him like he has the ball at the top of the key. That works. Yeah. Like, he can just do shit from there and it'll work every time. Because we've seen time and time again, especially against defenses that are at least semi-ready for it. It's not the best. Especially because the Nets don't have the size. You specifically noticed in the first 3 games that rather than having size necessarily, they have a big enough body to where he can't just bulldoze in, and then they bring guys over to swipe at the ball. Yeah. And he would get turnovers in the paint constantly. And that only happened like 2 times in this game.
Yeah. Their ball security was really good. Yeah, for sure.
By comparison to the first 3 games especially. But they had Drew doing, like you said, more stuff, and that was just a different, like, it was pissing me off. I was being treated like a role player. Yeah. Is like, Bud, that sounds like I'm saying.
That's not Eric Bledsoe.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just about to say. I was just pausing because it sounds like I'm saying, hey, buddy. But no, hey, Budenholzer. He's not Eric Bledsoe. Stop making him spot up and maybe let him initiate a play every once in a while. and he was good in that regard. Chris Middleton, this was like the most average Chris Middleton game ever, but being that he was dog shit in the first 2 games, an average game perfectly sells it. So I will say after that 9-2 start, it seemed like Milwaukee was in control the whole way through. And a lot of people are going to go, oh, it was the Kyrie injury. But Milwaukee was winning that game unless the only way they were losing that game because of Kyrie is if he caught fire. Yeah. But he was not playing great before that, missing a lot of short jumpers and not getting his shot easily. And we haven't even talked about their defense. And we haven't talked about Kevin Durant.
Or PJ Tucker,
PJ Tucker. Yeah. Their defense was phenomenal and very locked in clearly. I want to go on a fucking tangent. What was I talking about a second ago?
Do you want to do your Thanasis thing since we don't agree on the
Thanasis?
Yeah, on what happened to him to end the half?
Oh yeah. That's the one Kyrie thing that'll be memorable outside of the injury is that he crossed Thanasis. But the thing is, it's a funny ass thing to just look at a photo of a guy who fell on the floor of a crossover. It's just funny. But first thing, Kyrie missed the shot.
Yes.
But second thing, he missed it because Thanasis contested that bitch after falling on the floor.
There it is.
Which is incredible.
Yes.
But the NBA and NBA Twitter doesn't care about the context. It's just a funny image. Yeah. And honestly, I don't know if this will pick up on it. We're in Chicago, so there's sirens constantly. Twitter will not care about the context. I'm not upset with that.
Well, the good news is I won't probably see that clip many times because Kyrie didn't make the shot.
If he made it, that would genuinely have been one of the better crossovers of all time. It's
for sure
the best that I have seen by far.
Yeah. I'm just on the Kyrie thing. Another important thing to remember is that one of the reasons why down the stretch he's been sort of MIA is because the minute distribution for Steve Nash's lineups are such that Kyrie is like gassed at the end of these games. Mm-hmm. So it's not that he's not showing up. It's just that he's not as... Go ahead.
Well, in this game specifically, and there were moments, especially from 3, where I don't know what he was shooting percentage-wise, but I think it might have been game 3 or game 2. He was like 2 for 10 from 3. But today he was just missing a lot of short jumpers. I think he had like 4 different pull-ups from mid-range that just did not go in. I don't think he made any of them. I think he had a layup on the fast break, I remember, and a 3, and that was probably all that he did. He got a 3 as Drew Holiday just completely lost off ball. But he was not doing well, to say the least. And then once he got hurt, that's what sealed the victory for Milwaukee. I thought it was going that direction before that, but once that happened, it was like, okay, we got this.
But that's the thing that's important that you said we. That's interesting. The thing
Freudian slip.
The thing that's important for us to remember is that was our perception. Because this is what I was talking to you about, where I was like, I wonder if people at home can feel the momentum the way that we do right now.
Oh yeah, that's
where like if I was a Nets fan and I was in that arena, I would be like, this game is lost in the second quarter.
Yeah.
Right? Or like we're in some trouble before the Kyrie injury. But if I'm at home, I wonder if there were Nets fans that are, because you and I are tweeting, but we're not online. Where we get our shit up and then we
literally bounce. I was like, I have a thought. I need to get this out in 3 seconds and I'm back.
And then that's it. So I don't know what the perception was, but for us, so when we say that the game was over, that was just how we looked at it. PJ Tucker in this game. Here's the thing. Going into this game, it was like, I've seen Kevin Durant play before. I saw him play in Golden State. So when the last time that Golden State ever played at the Palace, I got to see them. It's the first time I ever saw Kevin Durant play. It was mesmerizing. I was really excited to see him again. And then PJ Tucker was like, nope. PJ Tucker was like, you're not getting a good Kevin Durant game.
Okay. Well, we talk about his defense real quick. Then I have a narrative.
Okay. Go ahead. Talk about PJ's defense.
No, I was going to say, you do it. You're the one who's all...
well, he's just a pest. I mean, anytime... So Kevin Durant would get those baseline looks, and... So here's the thing. I would do a lot of yelling during that game, and every time that Kevin Durant would get the ball on the baseline, and PJ Tucker would do that crazy thing where he's like, what's the thing that you do in football where I don't remember, you like toe the line, right? You know what I'm talking about? You wouldn't know. You don't care about football.
No, I watched college.
Okay. So it's like he does those drills on Kevin Durant, and he's got his. It's like who's that guy in Star Wars? Remember Attack of the Clones? right? Obi-Wan goes to have dinner.
This is why I love you.
With that guy Dex at that diner,
and I have no fucking clue what you're talking about.
And he's got 4 arms. Okay, there are 2 guys that defend like that in the National Basketball Association. One of them is PJ Tucker. The other one is Isaac Okoro. Okay, that's how they defend. Okay, so PJ Tucker, he's got both hands on Kevin Durant while keeping 2 other hands in passing lanes. So when he gets those baseline looks, he like freezes Kevin Durant. And every time that he would get that, I would stand up and I'd be like, put him in a suitcase. Because it was free every single time. It was absolutely free.
You heard it here first. PJ Tucker has 4 arms.
PJ Tucker, absolutely free on Kevin Durant. I think he held KD in specific one-on-one defensive matchups to like 25% from the field.
I will say there were a lot of Nets fans, I noticed this, complaining on Twitter about the officiating. Now, the officiating just in general in this game was pretty fucking wishy-washy. Like, there was stuff that was like, how is this an offensive foul? But that's not. One thing that sticks out in particular is Bruce Brown just straight up pushed his defender out of the way, and that was an and one. But then Drew Holiday pushed Kevin Durant, and he fucking flopped.
Yeah.
And then that was an offensive foul, and it was like, okay, that's the same play.
Pat Connaughton got his head split open, like we mentioned earlier, and there was no foul call.
Okay, there's people out in the hallway. I don't know if the mic can pick up on that. But I'll give that one a bit of a pass because I don't think people. I just think they didn't see it.
Sure.
And then once there's someone bleeding, like you can't just be like, okay, he's bleeding.
Sure.
Therefore foul.
It was right under the basket. It was like it was facing the stanchion. Yeah, it was kind of a weird angle for officials.
Yeah. So
but Bucks fans were, and I said this to you guys during the game because KD the whole time, Ed Malloy, he was just chirping.
Oh
the whole
yeah.
game. And all the Bucks fans are like, team up, and I'm like, that's KD's boy. Like Ed Malloy is never gonna tee up Kevin Durant. Ever. And if you think that he is, like, this is going to be a terrible day for you.
See, if there is anything that I'm still missing out on, I don't know, like, reputations very well. People are like, this guy is known for doing this all the time. I'm like, Scott Foster is the only one that I have any level of, oh, yeah, that fucking guy. And then that bald fuck.
Joey Crawford,
the bald fuck.
Well, he's not in the league anymore.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But, like, teeing up Tim Duncan for laughing on the bench.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, yeah, PJ played great defense. And I will say, what the complaint foul things-wise, there was they let them play.
Sure.
And there was a great tweet that I saw that was like, everyone's for let them play until they actually do it. There was a lot of just contact that didn't get a call, which is fine. But and that, to me, it felt like that was both ways. But I will say Kevin Durant in general definitely faced a very physical defense.
Yeah.
And as soon as Kyrie went down, the reason why I was like, oh yeah, this game is done is because I do not think Kevin Durant really had the power to take that team where it needed to go individually.
No, but there was like a weird spark. And it felt like Steve Nash kept KD in for almost a little bit longer than he needed to because KD was at some points hitting these shots that kind of made it seem like, wait.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think he does that regardless.
No, 100%. So that's why when you have a guy like that on your team, you're kind of like, I'm going to leave him out there for just a minute. And then the one thing that we talked about is like the whole Blake Griffin plays. I thought he played. He hit like I think a pair of threes.
The first 3 hit was ridiculous.
Yeah, which that was weird for me seeing him in a Nets uniform as a Pistons fan. That's the first time I've seen him in not a Pistons uniform.
That's
in person.
The first time I've seen him in person. Period. So
I've seen him in a Clippers uniform, a Pistons uniform, and now a Nets uniform.
Mm-hmm.
That was weird for me. Seeing Bruce was like a fever dream. I don't know. It was weird. The whole experience for me.
By the way, Rudy, this is still recording, right? As a blue flash. Okay, I just want to be sure that'd be fucked.
Seeing both of those guys was really interesting for me, but that had to be. And then the biggest thing that we said going into that game was, you go through 3 games and Milwaukee is shooting as poorly as they are from 3. Eventually, they're going to have that game where they just absolutely break out, and finally, we got to see that. And I just feel like there's just this weird momentum shift where if Kyrie and Harden are still out for Game 5, this is free.
All right. There's the expression again. If you ever make merch, just say it's free.
It's free.
So here's the narrative I got to spin. James Harden is the best player on the Nets. Fight me about it. I have been like, and there are elements of this that a genuine criticism of that argument is that you're just doing this player is better at carrying thing, which to an extent is true. I'm just saying specifically, I have made the observation every time I watch a Nets game this year, and I watched a lot of Nets games this year, and specifically the Nets were a roll of the dice. What were you actually getting pretty often? Like maybe James Harden and Kyrie, maybe Kyrie and Kevin Durant, maybe Kevin Durant and James Harden, maybe Kevin Durant and Kyrie, maybe just Kyrie, maybe just KD, maybe just James Harden. It was a whole fucking mix smash of that type of stuff. And anytime it was like things were through James Harden, the Nets looked 3 times the team of the other 2 options.
Sure.
And literally, you're like, what are the optics of the Nets winning this series? It is James Harden comes back game 5 and takes that playmaking pressure off of Kevin Durant, because I think where he really struggled in this game was his mindset when his team is down is shoot, shoot, shoot. And like he made fine passes, but he wasn't creating offense for anyone but himself.
Sure.
And there's no one else out there that's going to do that.
Sure.
So literally the defense became so easy because it's just Kevin Durant's going to come up the court and he's going to shoot. And he's damn fucking good, so he's going to make it a couple of times. But he's not so good that he's going to score 80 on us.
There it is again, by the way. I just want to, you said us.
Well, that one was me taking the perspective of the Bucks.
Fan. Sure.
I'll say, just because I keep doing that, I specifically in Game 3, we were in Zoom watching it. Yeah. I was like, I don't want to go to Game 4, and it's the fucking roll over and die game. Yeah. So I got really locked into I need the Bucks to win this. The Bucks are also my 3rd favorite team in the league. Maybe 4th when the Warriors aren't dog shit outside of Steph.
Yeah.
Where's
Detroit when we get Cade? Where are we in there?
If you get Cade, you might be top 10, probably.
Oh, okay, cool.
Just because I will enjoy that. I'll probably just watch whatever team Cade is on.
Sure.
Just what I've heard of him as a prospect, like I got to see that shit.
Sure.
Where was I going?
Your favorite teams. You like Milwaukee. You have a vested interest in them. Because you said us.
Yes.
Your district really sways.
Well, also, I was just locked into the feel of that. Like, I was just like, we are one. Yeah. We are one collective crowd of people saying the Nets shall lose.
Yeah.
Also, sorry, Nets fans. I don't like super teams. I'm going to root against your team in literally any fucking matchup that they have. So I'm already wanting the Nets to lose in the playoffs, and I think the Nets lose this round. The playoffs are 5 times better than what they will be if they win and they're healthy throughout the rest of it.
Can I give you I have 2 very quick things to say that I want to. These will be my closing thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is not a basketball point. Want me to leave with that?
End with that. I think.
End with the non-basketball point. Okay. The first basketball point. Let's just play devil's advocate.
Oh, great things are said after that statement.
No. This is real. This is a narrative thing.
Here's why we shouldn't let them in the country.
So
devil's advocate.
If we go into the NBA Finals and just it's Bucks Suns, and I look at who's the Bucks point guard, Jrue Holiday. That's who they wanted. That's who John Horst said. That's who I want to be my guy. And then the Bucks. There's so many rumors and there's so much speculation around what happened with Chris Paul. Some people said it was Chris that wasn't interested, so that's why they didn't pursue. Some people say it was John Horst and Giannis that weren't interested in Chris Paul, so they said, "No, we're good. We want Jrue instead." So there's that weird dynamic thing. And then you also have, Chris Paul versus Giannis would be a Booker and all that would be objectively awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have Torrey Craig, who the Bucks signed, and then Budenholzer was like, "I don't have time for this kid."
Yeah, and Torrey Craig has been amazing for the Suns.
Yeah, and I said they should have kept Torrey Craig as a contingency plan for when Dante DiVincenzo, if he got hurt.
The hindsight on that is not pretty.
No, 100%. And like I said it as a joke, and then like game 1 of the Suns and the Nuggets, I was like, so I was right about that. They should have kept Torrey Craig.
What did it cost them to keep him? What fucking Sam Merrill? No offense to him.
They just Sam Merrill, by the way. But yeah, also look at the state. Should I tell on you guys not knowing who Mamadi Diakite is?
Oh yeah, we didn't know who that was. We acted like we hadn't.
Axel Toupon, he was Sam Merrill, Jordan Nwora, Elijah Bryant. Come on, guys. Anyways, so the non-basketball point, seeing James Harden was really cool. I'm looking down, like, wow, it's James Harden. Impressed. Wow. I've never seen him.
Like he's down on the floor.
Well, he was. I'm just, for
pan down. There's James Harden.
Wow, look at him. No, you know how you know he's not down there? I'm going to be honest. You know how you look at him in his warm-ups and people are like, well, he looks a little chunk. I'm like, I know people always say like, well, he wears like warm-ups and sweats, all this stuff. Like he has a lot of layers on it. And I'm like, are you wearing like 3 jean jackets and like 4 pairs of pants?
It looked like he was like his pants were so baggy. I was like, is that a Michael Jordan fit that I'm looking at right now?
He's like wearing Jinkos. Like I'm like James Harden. I was like, I don't know. He just looked a little.
No, it's weird. It's like an optical illusion.
Yeah.
James Harden. Literally, I looked down. I was like, he looks huge.
He's got his angles. That
now I understand he's a 6'5", 230-pound man. He's just big to begin with, but
yeah,
he looked like he had a dad gut.
Yeah.
That's not really a basketball thing, but what's a closing thought from me? If you can afford playoff tickets and you're an NBA fan, do it, because holy fuck. This has genuinely been one of the best days of my life just because what an experience that was. I didn't even really get to finish my point, but I kind of did. But basically, the Bucks win this game even if Kyrie plays, probably. But him getting injured, that will make a difference in the series for sure. If James Harden comes back and he looks like James Harden, I think it can go either way still. He said earlier, the Bucks are up 2-2.
This is literally free.
Which is the funniest sentence. They're up tied.
People can like screen record this and send it. They can do whatever they want. This is the freest. Like we witnessed the Bucks go to the Eastern Conference Finals today. Sealed and signed. She's not my love like Billie Jean.
I'm just gonna scoot over here.
It's free. It's free.
What are you saying? Just crop me out of this.
All right. Okay. All right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm in a Rusty Buckets video. The Milwaukee Bucks have officially advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals, and I'm really excited to see them.
Can we get like today's paper to know what date it is?
Today's date it's the 13th.
13th, yeah.
It's the 13th of June, year of our Lord 2021. The Milwaukee Bucks have officially advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Let's get a tight zoom on that mustache. Look, this will be an all-time worst take if they lose. So just putting that out there. But you know what? At that point, you'll have other things to worry about.
Yeah. All right. I want to try not to smile.
Are we just getting this clip?
You can just cut to it.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to cut to it. But...
Oh, then why are we doing it then? What are we doing it for then?
No, I just want to get it perfect.
Okay. The date today is the 13th of June, year of our Lord 2021. Milwaukee Bucks, in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference semifinals, defeated the Brooklyn Nets to take a 2-2 series lead. They've officially advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals to face the Philadelphia 76ers, and I'm very excited because, as far as I'm concerned, the Eastern Conference Final, they just won the finals. This series is over. The series is over. The Bucks did it. They just won the finals, and it's only June 13th.
You just delivered that like Lyndon B. Johnson saying that JFK was assassinated.
Did he make an announcement about that?
I assume so, but it was just like...
I thought he was just on a plane and he's like, I gotta be the president.
The president has been shot. That's how the way you delivered that.
Okay,
No, it's good. It's good.
This is free. I can't believe this is about to happen. I can't believe this is my life. I'm so excited. This is so free.
Okay, well, don't attach me to. Do not associate me with any of this. I did not. I think it can go either way if Harden's back Game 5, but otherwise it doesn't look good.
Okay, I actually agree with you. Because if James Harden comes back, I'm actually terrified.
Here's the back pedal.
No, I'm obviously just kind of messing around. I'm dead serious that if there's no Harden and Kyrie, obviously this series is over.
I agree with that. But I wouldn't say it's certainty, but it's pretty close to certainty.
No, I think it's just over. That I will say with complete confidence. If there's no Kyrie and no James Harden, this series is over. But if James Harden comes back, and they obviously still have KD, which of course they will, and Jeff Green is back too, which is really important for them. I am scared. I'm really scared.
That was a quick 180.
I'm way more scared for Harden and KD than I ever will be for Kyrie and KD.
Okay, I gotta ask just at the end of this video. Do you agree with my Harden more important for the Nets?
No, 100% I do. Yeah, okay.
I know Rudy doesn't.
I think that's like
Rudy thinks Ben Simmons is better. Go slander him on Twitter for that.
That's like the people who believe James Harden is the most valuable Brooklyn Net are the same people who believed that Brandon Clark was the ideal fit for their NBA team a few years ago in the draft. So that's like the hipster thing to say right now. So anybody who says that, Rudy likes that one. So anybody who says that, I trust them. I trust their basketball opinion because I agree with that.
I'm an NBA
because I wanted Brandon Clark on my team.
I'm officially an NBA hipster. You You've heard it here first.
Mm.
All right. This went way longer than 20 minutes, but I think so anyways. But yeah, that's it. This is a weird fucking video. Yeah. Bye. Go.
I'm not gonna do
Say subscribe to your channel.
Subscribe to Motown Noah.
All right, do it like there's not a gun to your head.
I don't want to do it. I'm not gonna do it. I don't want to do it.